are in my pocket. It was a Sunday morning, and the sun was shining in Sunnysands.
Look out, Captain Dumbletwit!
Grandpa and I were reading a Captain Dumbletwit story, and Jemima said,
I think it's going to be a very dull day.
but Jemima couldn't have been more wrong. Suddenly we heard,
I wonder who that can be.
I ran and opened the door, and guess who walked in? Mr Mentor the Inventor. Now, Mr Mentor the Inventor lives in the lighthouse in Sunnysands. He's always coming up with really crazy inventions. Like this, the grassy buggle jumper. Only the bugs liked it even more than he did. Then there's this, the automatic haerostatic that gives you a new hairstyle every day. And this, the Huffer Puffer Pillow Fluffer. Everyone loves going to visit him in the lighthouse and trying things out. So we were all wondering what he wanted today.
Mr. Mentor, what a nice surprise. Have you come to stay?
Oh no, not at all. I'm on my way to a meeting of the most remarkable inventors of the universe.
Sounds great, Mr. Mentor, but why are you here?
I have an invention which I've almost invented, but I've had to leave it at the lighthouse. It's behaving rather badly and shouldn't be left by itself.
Really? So, what is this invention?
It plops the custard into a custard puff. It tends to plop when it shouldn't plop and not plop when it should plop. But when it works properly, I'm sure it will be fabadiculous.
Yes, this was the day we got to see Mr Mentor's Custard Puff Plopper.
So are you saying you'd like us to look after it for you while you're at the meeting?
Oh, yes, please.
Mr Mentor gave Dad the keys to the lighthouse. Then he picked up all his boxes and bags and went off to see the most remarkable inventors in the universe.
Can I come with you, Dad? And me?
Yes, I could do with your help.
Great, I'll just get my shoes.
Who knows, I might be able to fix the custard puff plopper. I'll bring some tools.
If Dad's going to try and fix Mr. Mentor's custard puff plopper, he's going to need my help. I'm coming too.
Not the shrinking gap, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
You know what happens when Grandpa shrinks. He can get in my car and make it go. He can fly on Gordon, my toy seagull. He can get into our Sunnysands train and chuff around. Or he can just run for all he's worth. At that moment, Jemima came running downstairs and Dad came in from the garden.
Come on!
Grandpa gone for a little lie down, has he? Good idea. Come on.
There was nothing I could do. Grandpa would have to find his own way to the lighthouse. So off we went in Campo, and Jemima said,
It's a pity Grandpa couldn't come with us. He's never seen Mr. Mentor's inventing room.
and Dad said,
Yes, poor Grandpa. But he'd never manage all those stairs.
but I had a feeling that Grandpa wasn't going to bother with stairs. Grandpa had got here first. I quickly hid the plane under one of Mr. Mentor's scarves. I knew Grandpa had to be hiding somewhere, but there was no time to look for him.
So which one's the custard puff plopper?
I think it must be this.
I think you're right, Jason.
Oh, I see. The milk, sugar and eggs are in the funnel. So custard should plop through this pipe into the puff.
Dad twiddled a knob,
I wonder why it's not working.
and this is what happened.
Careful, Dad! I think the custard's stuck in the plopping pipe.
I need to look inside. There's a screwdriver in Campo. Would you mind fetching it, Jemima?
So Jemima ran all the way to the bottom of the lighthouse to fetch Dad's screwdriver. Grandpa was trying to get to the custard puff plopper, but he couldn't with Dad right there. I needed to get him out of the way. Couldn't you do the hammer too, Dad?
I think you're right.
This was Grandpa's chance. He jumped down, ran across the floor and climbed up the table leg. But there was only one way to get inside it, by climbing up the plopping pipe. Have you worked out what's wrong yet, Grandpa? Grandpa had worked it out. Suddenly, he pushed a nut out of the plopper.
The nut wasn't screwed on properly. It's dirty. It needs a good clean.
But there was no time to clean it. Somebody was coming up the stairs. It was... Great Aunt Loretta, Grandpa's sister.
Oh, Mr Mentor's left you in charge of his inventions. Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, that's all I need.
I hope you haven't been interfering, Jason. Ooh, you have to be very careful when you... Oh!
Great Aunt Loretta had caught her boot in a hole in the floorboards.
I caught my boot in a hole in the floorboards. Oh, now then, where's this custard plop puffer Mr Mentor was talking about?
Actually, it's a custard puff plopper.
Well, that's what I said. Get out of the way, Jason.
Grandpa was hiding behind the custard puff plopper. Any moment Great Aunt Loretta would see him.
What was that? It wasn't a mouse, was it?
I don't think so. While Great Aunt Loretta was looking for the mouse, Grandpa quickly took his chance. He leapt off the table and ran towards the hole. He was just jumping into it when...
I saw something disappearing into that hole. It must have been a mouse. Oh, it might eat one of Mr Mentor's inventions, or it might get into the custard plop puffer plopper.
Under the floorboards, the mouse was looking for the red plastic nut, but he wasn't having much luck.
I can't see it anywhere. Bother.
Oh, I've got it. Just the thing. This'll scare the life out of it.
A clockwork bumblebee.
Exactly.
The clockwork bumblebee didn't scare the life out of the mouse, but it did scare the life out of Grandpa. Now Great Aunt Loretta had her ear to the floor, listening.
I can hear footsteps and rustling and panting. Must be a doddery old mouse down here.
Perhaps you should just block up the hole.
No! Yes! I can use this. Come on, Jemima, you can do the stuffing for me.
This was a disaster. Now Grandpa was stuck under the floorboards with a clockwork toy and there was no way he could get out. But Grandpa, being Grandpa, had a plan.
Look, the mouse is pulling the scarf away.
Help! 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 Ah!
The good news was Grandpa had managed to climb out of the hole. The better news was he'd found the red plastic nut. And the best news of all was that he'd cleaned it with Mr Mentor's scarf.
It's only a mouse.
While Dad and Jemima were busy calming Great Aunt Loretta down, Grandpa climbed back up the plopping pipe. Just in time, too.
Please don't worry about the mouse, Loretta. Have a go with the custard puff plopper instead.
So Great Aunt Loretta started pushing buttons and pulling levers. Of course, she had no idea that Grandpa was inside.
Well, it's no good, it's not plopping.
Sorry, Loretta. I thought I'd fixed it.
Well, you hadn't.
I think we should take the custard puff plopper home. I've got loads more tools in my workshop.
Back at home, Jemima was upstairs helping Great Aunt Loretta to clean up. And Dad was looking for some more tools. Grandpa, you must come out now! But it was too late. Dad was back.
This should do it. Just tighten that. Loosen that. Turn this. Hey!
Brilliant! Pass me a puff, Jemima.
Great Aunt Loretta hadn't just plopped Custard into her puff. She'd plopped Grandpa too.
Ah! It's wiggling! I think the mouse is in it! Ooh.
Loretta, it's okay. Come back.
While everyone was in the garden, I took Grandpa out of the puff. He was covered in custard, but it didn't stop him running into the sitting room. He whipped off his cap and came back to his normal size.
We did it, Jason. We fixed the custard puff Plopper. That's what I call teamwork.
Teamwork, Grandpa! Later, Mr Mentor was absolutely delighted to see his custard puff Plopper working.
I'm absolutely delighted. You are a genius, Mr. Mason. You should join the most remarkable inventors in the universe.
Of course, I couldn't tell Dad or Mr Mentor that the really remarkable inventor was Grandpa.
You've woken up, eh, Grandpa? Do you fancy a custard puff?
No thanks, Loretta.
Yum. You don't know what you're missing.
Oh, don't I?
Grandpa in my pocket! Today, Dad had brought me, Grandpa, and my sister Jemima to our favourite place, our beach hut on the beach.
Jason!
We'd only been here for a few minutes when who should we see coming round the corner?
Whoops!
Mr Whoops. Mr Whoops is called Mr Whoops because he's always having little accidents. He falls over things,
Whoops!
he
Whoops!
falls off things,
Whoops!
he even trips over his own feet.
Whoops!
Well, if it isn't Mr. Whoops.
Hello, Mr. Whoops. What have you got there then?
I'm doing my bit for Sunny Sands, picking up the litter, making the beach all squeaky clean. Oh, look, there's another bit. Whoops! Oh, dear! I think I've twinged something in my back.
Sit yourself down, Mr. Whoops.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. You too. I can't believe I was so clumsy.
Don't you? What you need, Mr. Whoops, is some kind of machine to help you pick up all this litter. Then you wouldn't have to bend your back.
Oh yes, Grandpa was right. What Mr Whoops needed was the perfect little litter picker. Dad offered to take Mr Whoops back to his toy shop in Campo.
That's very kind. So long as it isn't any trouble. I don't want to be any trouble.
Just then, who should turn up? Mr Mentor the Inventor.
The bottom of the afternoon to you all.
The very person to invent a litter picker for Mr. Whoops.
A litter picker? Tell me more.
Now, Mr Mentor the Inventor lives in the lighthouse in Sunny Sands. He's always coming up with really crazy inventions. Like this, the grassy buggle jumper. Only the bugs liked it even more than he did. Then there's this, the automatic hair-o-static that gives you a new hairstyle every day. And this, the Huffer Puffer Pillow Fluffer. Everyone loves going to visit him in the lighthouse and trying things out. And he likes trying out other people's inventions too.
I'd love to invent a litter picker for Mr. Whoops. It's a fabridiculous idea.
Mr Mentor doesn't just invent things, he invents words as well.
Let's go to my lighthouse and see what we can do, eh?
Oh, poor Grandpa. You'll have to stay here because you can't manage the lighthouse stairs.
Oh, I'll just have a little lie down in the beach hut.
Okay. Come on, Mr. Mentor.
I knew Grandpa had no intention of having a little lie down. As soon as the others turned their backs, out came his shrinking cap. Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa!
Catch me if you can.
Now, you know when Grandpa shrinks, he can make my toys go. He can get into my car and drive it about. He can fly off in my plane. He can chuff around in our Sunny Sands train. And he can even make Gordon, my toy seagull, fly. Or he can just run so fast that I can't keep up with him. And this time, he'd done just that. I had no idea where he'd got to.
Jason!
See you later.
Up the lighthouse, Mr Mentor was turning out box after box of stuff to see what he could find to make a litter picker. Grandpa would surely be on his way, and I guessed how. I needed to distract Jemima and Mr Mentor.
Mr Mentor, how about looking on that shelf over there?
Okie dokie.
I managed to do that just in time, and in flew Grandpa.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps there's something brilioso in here. Let's have a look. Let's see.
While they carried on looking, Grandpa started to have fun. He climbed up onto a shelf and ran along it. Jumped, slid down and made a dingy thing ping.
What's that?
It's my ping-a-ding-a-dong. It's never worked before. Now it's pinging and dinging and donging.
It's amazing! What's it for?
No idea, but it's working.
Just then, Grandpa made a whirly thing whirl.
Goodness, my whirly-wheely whizzer is whirling and wheeling and whizzing.
Could it pick up litter, do you think?
Oh no, it's not a litter picker. It's a whirly-wheely whizzer. Quite different, my dear.
Grandpa then popped a horn, and it set a whole lot of other horns popping.
Oh, it's a miracle. My poppy tootle-toot is popping and tootling.
What's going on?
No idea, but it just goes to show you never know when an invention is going to start working or why.
And just then, I saw Grandpa jumping into something.
I've just had a spectacular idea. We can use this for the litter picker.
Oh, I think we can do better than that, Mr Mentor.
Jason, Mr Mentor knows what he's doing.
But there's nowhere to plug it in on the beach.
You're quite right, Jason. Let's look over here.
Grandpa got out of the grass box and ran across the floor. Next thing I knew, he was standing next to a peculiar-looking bird and pointing at it.
We can use that bird. What is it?
I'm a little litter picker. I'm a little litter picker.
It can peck up litter in its beak. Brilliant. Hang on. It just spoke.
Probably. Things seem to have a life of their own in here today. Oh, I think it'll be wonderbubble. It needs a bit of work on the inside and a bit of work on the outside, knobs, levers and strings. But then, it'll be the perfect little litter picker.
So after a bit of work on the inside and a bit of work on the outside, Mr Mentor had this. It had knobs and levers and strings, and Mr Mentor walked around showing us how it worked. You just pulled a lever, and its head went down, and it pecked up the litter.
How wonderbubble is that, eh?
Spectacularly wonderbubble.
Fabadiculous.
Absolutely fabadiculous.
Let's ring Mr Whoops. So I dialed Mr Whoops's number to tell him to come straight away. And very soon, he arrived.
Whoop! Whoops!
Let me present you with the perfect little litter picker, Mr. Whoops.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
And Mr Whoops started to try out the litter picker. But you know what Mr Whoops is like.
Whoops! I don't know what happened there.
Are you okay?
Yes, thank you. You see my arm up and then like that. I just keep on tripping over my feet.
It stopped working. I think something snapped inside.
Oh no! I've broken it! How could I be so clumsy?
I'm sure it wasn't you, Mr. Wood.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Mentor. It's one of your masterpieces.
Grandpa had a plan. He jumped inside the litter picker and tried to find out what had broken.
Oh, Jason was right. The string that makes his mouth work has snapped. Well, I can fix that in the blink of an eye.
I think it's mended.
Mended? You clever boy. Let me see, Jason.
I didn't really want to hand the bird back to Mr. Whoops because Grandpa was still inside.
Hand it over, Jason.
Yes, go on. I want to see it working again.
I'll be very careful this time.
To start with, Mr. Whoops was very careful. Jemima put down bits of litter for the bird to pick up. And the bird said,
I'm the perfect little litter picker. I'm the perfect little litter picker.
It's amazing! I can't believe it talks!
I don't remember inventing the talking bit, but there are so many things I don't remember inventing because I invent all the time, you see.
Who's a lovely litter picker, eh?
I am. I'm a lovely litter picker.
Do you want to go, Jemima? Whoop!
Now, as you know, when Grandpa gets into things, he can make them go. So now he was making the litter picker fly. And he flew right out of the lighthouse window. This time Grandpa had gone too far.
It's incredible, Mr. Mentor. It talks and it flies.
I don't remember inventing the flying bit either.
It's heading for the beach. Let's go! The litter picker landed at the beach hut, and Grandpa jumped out. As we arrived, I just caught sight of him running towards the beach hut. So, as the others ran to the bird, I ran to Grandpa. He was trying to find somewhere out of sight of the others so that he could take his cap off.
I knew it was you.
Cap off, Grandpa, quick!
Oh, Jason, Mr. Whoop's got his litter picker, and it's all down to us.
Yes, Grandpa, I'd call that teamwork.
Teamwork.
You should have seen it, Grandpa. It was
Later, Jemima couldn't stop talking about it.
It was just amazing.
Mr. Whoops was certainly very pleased.
And it flew. Can you believe it flew, Grandpa?
Yes, I can. Mr. Mentor is an excellent inventor.
And it talked. It said...
I'm the perfect little litter picker.
Yes! Grandpa, how did you know?
Oh, I've known a lot of little litter pickers in my time, and they all sound the same.
Oh, Grandpa.
Grandpa in my pocket! Today, Dad had got us all involved in a big plan.
Nothing like a good clear out. We have so much junk for the charity shop. Look at it.
Hey, you can't take this to the charity shop. Mr. Porky, my piggy bank. I made him when I was a boy.
He's a bit, well, ordinary.
Ordinary? Ordinary? There's nothing ordinary about Mr. Porky.
Of course, Grandpa was right. Mr. Porky was no ordinary pig.
My carousel. I want to keep it.
But it's broken, Jemima. And this boat of yours doesn't work either, Jason.
But maybe we can mend it.
Yes, Dad. Please, please let me keep it, Dad, please.
Maybe I can mend them, Jason, but if I'm going to do that, it would be better if I was small.
Not the shrinking cap, Grandpa. Grandpa can do all kinds of things when he's small. He can run so fast I can't catch him. He can get into the tiniest of places. And his magic can make my toys work. Like my car and my plane. I'm the only one who knows about his magic shrinking cap. And no one else is allowed to find out. As usual, I had no idea where Grandpa was hiding. And then I heard...
Ship ahoy!
He was in Jemima's carousel.
I really want to keep it, Dad. I really, really do.
Grandpa, hide! They're coming! So, Grandpa got out of the boat and went through the door in the middle of the carousel. In no time at all, Grandpa had mended something inside. And it was working.
Ah, Grandpa gone for a little lie down, has he?
Jason, you're brilliant! I can keep it, can't I, Dad?
You can keep it.
Yes, it's going in my room.
But you are off to the charity shop, Mr. Porky.
And Mr. Porky wasn't alone. Oh no, please let me keep my boat, Dad.
But it's broken, Jason.
If anyone could mend my boat, it would be Grandpa. I needed an idea, and I needed it fast. Hey, I know. Instead of taking these things to the charity shop, why don't we bring Mr. Mentor the Inventor? Maybe he can invent something out of the things that don't work. Now, Mr Mentor the Inventor lives in the lighthouse in Sunny Sands. He's always coming up with really crazy inventions, like this. The automatic haerostatic that gives you a new hairstyle every day. And this, the Huffer Puffer Pillow Fluffer. Oh yes, Mr Mentor invents things out of all kinds of junk. He loves junk. So Dad called Mr Mentor and Grandpa slid down the banisters and out into the garden. And this is what happened. Oh yes, Grandpa got into my broken boat and his magic made it go.
Dad, Jemima!
They thought I'd mended it. And just then Mr Mentor arrived.
Here I am! Oh, now that is a fabadiculous bit of junk.
No, Mr Mentor, the junk's inside. Come on, I'll show you.
Oh,
There was no time to lose. Grandpa climbed onto the top of the boat and I picked him up.
I was enjoying that.
I know, but you'll be needed inside now. There's no knowing what Mr Mentor will choose next.
I hope it isn't Mr Porky.
Mr. Porky. Oh, he's absolutely wonderbubble. I could invent no end of things with this pig.
Anything else you fancy?
While Dad and Jemima showed things to Mr Mentor, Grandpa ran from his hiding place. He climbed up the table leg and got into the pig. This time Grandpa had gone too far.
No, I don't fancy anything else. Mr. Porky is all I could ever want.
This was a disaster.
I'll show you out.
See you soon.
Bye, Mr Mentor!
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And off went Grandpa to the lighthouse inside Mr Porky.
Now then, what am I going to do with you, Mr. Porky?
I've no idea, but I'm sure we'll come up with something.
You spoke!
Of course I did.
This is wonderbubble. I have just invented a talking pig without even trying.
You have. You are one of the most remarkable inventors in the universe. How about you give me a lick of paint, so I don't look so ordinary?
A lick of paint, of course.
And a new curly-whirly tail.
Oh, we can't have a pig with no curly-whirly in his tail.
So Mr Mentor set to work, and soon Mr Porky looked like this.
You are spectacular, Mr. Porky.
Thank you, Mr Mentor. I am loving being all curly-whirly and swirly.
Yes, I have invented a truly extraordinary talking pig.
And not just talking. Oh, no. I sing as well. Here we go.
This time Grandpa had gone too far.
My name is Mr. Porky. Not only am I talky, I can sing and I can dance a little jig.
I love a jig.
I'm lucky to have spent an afternoon with Mr. Mentor, because now I am no ordinary pig.
No ordinary pig, but a pig that's really quite remarkable.
No ordinary pig, but a pig that clearly might get into trouble.
Oh dear. I think I ought to mention that this brilliant invention just makes me want to sing and dance a jig. With a body bright and swirly and a tail all curly-whirly, he really is no ordinary pig.
No ordinary pig. No money box, no ornament, no toy.
No ordinary pig, but a singing, dancing talker.
I'm a wonder bubble porker.
He's a pig that makes me jig about for joy.
Back at our house, I was getting really worried about Grandpa.
Right, time to wake Grandpa.
No, not yet, Dad! Why don't I call Mr Mentor and see how he's getting on? Then we'll have something to tell Grandpa when he wakes up.
Okay, good idea.
Hello? Oh, hello, Jason. You're not going to believe this. The pig talks.
Really?
What What did he say?
Tell us.
The pig talks.
The pig talks.
Can I talk to the pig, Mr. Mentor?
Oh, of course.
I really needed to know how Grandpa was going to get home.
Hello, Jason.
Hello, Mr. Porky. I've never heard of a talking pig. Whatever next?
How about a flying pig?
A flying pig? Suddenly, I understood what Grandpa's plan was.
A flying pig? You mean you want me to make you wings?
Why not? Then I'd be even more extraordinary.
So, Mr. Mentor set to work, and soon Mr. Porky looked like this. He had wings, and Grandpa's magic made him fly.
Oh my!
And he flew all around the lighthouse and out of the window.
Wait for me!
Back at home, we all ran into the garden. Here it comes! Look!
Spectacular!
Remarkable!
The good news was that Grandpa was home. The bad news was I had no time to get him out of Mr. Porky because Mr. Mentor arrived in a panic.
I'm in a panic. My talking, singing, dancing pig flew out of the window, and I don't know where he went. He just took off.
It's fine.
Terrible, Mr.
While Mr. Mentor panicked and Dad and Jemima tried to calm him down, I managed to get Grandpa out of the pig and into my pocket.
Mr. Mentor,
Terrible, they went straight out of the window.
Sir! Your pig's here, Mr. Mentor.
Oh, Wonder Bubble. It's one of my best inventions ever, and I don't know what to do with it.
Why don't you give it back to Grandpa? It was his pig after all.
What a spectacular idea.
I'll go and wake him up.
No! I will, Dad. I ran into the sitting room and put Grandpa down. Cap off Grandpa quick, so off came his shrinking cap and he came back to his normal size.
We did it, Jason. We managed to keep Mr. Porky and all our treasures in the family. Teamwork, I say.
Teamwork. So Mr. Mentor gave Grandpa Mr. Porky.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Mentor. He's absolutely fabadiculous, isn't he? Huh? But I think he might need a bit of a rest now.
Just you wait till he talks and sings and flies. He is no ordinary pig, Grandpa. No ordinary pig.
But a pig that's really quite remarkable. No ordinary pig.
But a pig that clearly might get into trouble. Grandpa, you know his song.
Well, of course I do. He's my pig, remember?